All right, everybody, let's get started. First of all, I just really wanted to thank you for having me in today. It means a lot. I'm very excited to talk to you about Crackle. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Trevor Thompson. I work in the West Coast sales group for Sony Pictures Television, digital media sales, and sponsorships. We have a lot of really cool stuff to show you today about Crackle, some fun trailers of our originals. But if there's a few things I want you to take away from today's meeting, it's the following. The first is an understanding of Crackle not just as a digital video service or a digital company, but as a TV network. And I'll explain more about that as we get into this discussion. The second is an understanding about how the TV landscape is changing and the way people watch TV is changing and how Crackle fits into that. The third is how Crackle can guarantee you a very unique and hard to reach segment with your advertising. And of course, I'm talking about the mythical cord cutter, cord shaver, cord never, who's actually not that mythical at all, as you'll see. And then also about how we can help you align your brand, your product, with some of the coolest entertainment content being produced right now, whether it's online or on television itself, using Sony Pictures Television Studios and the talent and the stars that we have access to. I always find it helps to kind of, when you understand Crackle, to kind of understand how we fit into the Sony Pictures Television Group and the Sony universe. So we have a really great sizzle reel that kind of speaks to that, and I'll let you take a look at that.
At Sony, we combine artistry with innovation to create amazing human experiences.
So as you can see, some really amazing movies and TV shows that you know and probably watch. But to kind of reiterate, so Crackle sits underneath the Sony Pictures Television Group, the same group that brings you Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, The Blacklist, Shark Tank. And for those of you who love soaps, Days of Our Lives. So again, great content. We have access to all those resources. And that's what kind of makes it special. We're a studio and we're a network. We're building shows for Crackle specifically, and we're also licensing great content from the Sony library, as well as other studios. And the other important part of that piece is that we sit in the television group because we are a TV network. And I keep reiterating that, but I keep making that a point because it is the most important thing I think to take away from today's meeting is that we are just like a cable TV channel. We are like FX, we are like AMC. We have a selection and curated set of movies and television shows that changes month to month, completely ad supported. And it's for this reason that we actually this year went into we stepped away from the digital new fronts and went into the TV upfronts with the other cable channels because at the end of the day, we look, we act, we're consumed, we're experienced the exact same way as a television network. We just happen to be streamed over the top. And that's important, and because there is a difference between linear, obviously, and streaming television. And a big part of that, and a big part of the problem with that in terms of attracting advertisers has been the lack of reach, or that used to be the problem, but we're kind of overcoming that now. We look at the latest numbers from Nielsen, and we see that over 40% of U.S. homes have some sort of subscription video on demand service, or SVOD. The vast majority of this is Netflix, but we're looking at things like HBO and Showtime and Hulu as well. This is great for us because we are an over-the-top streaming network. So the fact that people are watching streaming TV in homes across America in a big segment is important. But what's nice about it is that, and what's tough for you guys is all these 40% of SVODs. There's not really an opportunity to reach them with advertising. Netflix is not advertising supported, but Crackle is. And as we grow our audience across all devices, we're here as a completely free ad-supported network that kind of sets us apart from all the other SVODs out there that can accept your advertising, and that's kind of why we think that we are important and have some value to you. And then we look at how these people that are watching streaming TV are consuming television, because that informs our business decisions too, and how we program for Crackle and what we're doing. And the nice thing is that, for us, is that most people are cutting the cord and choosing not to just watch video on desktop or watch it on mobile or tablet, but they're watching it on televisions. They're replacing their paid TV subscription services or enhancing them with streaming television on big screen TVs, on 70-inch screens in the living room. As a company like Crackle at Sony Pictures Television, that's what we do. We create movies, we create TV shows, we make these great stories and characters that should be consumed, we think, on the big screen. If not in the theater, then at least in your living room. So we're really excited to see that's where kind of the activity and the consumer behavior is going. And as you'll see, this is kind of how we're programming our own network and our own products. Looking specifically at Crackle as a network, our reach is about 30 million uniques a month across all platforms. The majority of traffic at this point is coming from connected TV devices. That's smart TV, that's game consoles, that's over-the-top boxes. But we're also on mobile and tablet, and we have great products on those platforms as well. People are spending a lot of time consuming and watching this television. There are over 300 minutes a month on average across the devices. Most people are the place that people are spending the most time is on their connected TV devices, which is not a huge surprise. You're sitting in your living room, you're ready to watch a movie. You're much more engaged in the TV experience at that point. And the really great thing about full episode players like Crackle is that the metrics are fantastic for advertisers. I mean, we're looking at an average of 90 to 95%, sometimes higher, especially on connected TV devices, completion rates. So really, really great in terms of performance for the advertisers. And a snapshot of kind of all the places we are, this kind of helps put in perspective, what a far reach across connected devices Crackle has. It's game consoles, again, streaming consoles, smart TVs, iOS, Android, and desktop as well. We're even on Delta, in case you were worried about not being able to watch Crackle while you were flying across the country. But joking aside, it's just kind of cool that we really have made an effort to be on every single device possible. And then I mentioned the metrics and why it's fun and important to work with somebody like Crackle. Across all the verticals, we have great clients that have really seen some amazing results, not just in terms of completion rate, but in terms of brand lift and viewability and click-through rates. So it just goes to show that, the audience is engaged and you're reaching them with your advertising. We talk about the audience. Who is that audience? We have identified that audience as a group we call the rechargers. The rechargers are mostly male. It's male skew, but there's also female. They're millennials, but they tend to be a little bit older than your average millennial. 28 years, kind of the average median age. They're young professionals. They're in the prime of their career, or at least in the prime spot where they're building their career. They have huge aspirations. They want they want to be wearing Tom Ford. They want to be driving the Teslas. They may not be there yet. That's where they're going. Their average household income, $75K plus. They're active. They're active socially. They're doing CrossFit. They're going to happy hours. And at the end of the day, after they're all said and done, they're exhausted. They want to sit back and they need to recharge. The way that they do that, and the way that we hope to help them recharge, is through really amazing and awesome programming. And that leads us into the next segment, which is how Crackle is programmed. So the titles we have are partly from Sony's library. About 35% of our titles come from Sony, but we also license content from Warner Brothers and from Miramax and from Lionsgate and from NBC Universal. So all the major studios out there, we're bringing that content in as well. Just like, again, I keep talking about this, but just like a traditional cable network would do. Hollywood movies, TV shows, full length, unedited, and then of course our own original programming. We have about 1,600 hours a month between TV and movies. And again, it refreshes every single month. So the idea is that you're always coming back for more. And when you come to Crackle, you're going to see movies that you know and love. And you can just kind of sit back and chill out and enjoy. One of the great things about television has always been how easy it is to get involved in television. You turn on Comcast, you turn on DirecTV, and immediately content starts playing. And you probably know that experience where you don't even mean to be watching something, but you get kind of sucked into it because you turned on a movie, Aliens or something, right at a really awesome spot, and you get sucked into it. Streaming television at this point, for the most part, has not had that. You go to Netflix and you just see a library of posters that you have to dig through to find content. It doesn't really have that engaging kind of effect that linear television has. So we want to change that. So we've revamped the Crackle TV app to be something we call Always On, with the idea being that when you start and you launch the Crackle app, you're immediately dropped into content. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be the beginning, it could be the middle. Someplace probably it's got a nice hook that we want you to be involved in. Of course, you can still see channels. You can scroll through. It's got channels built out kind of more like a television electronic programming guide than anything else. So really the idea here is to marry the best of linear TV with the best of digital, which is that on-demand experience. Because you can dig a little deeper and get to that on-demand experience. You can find that library. But what's cool about the app is that there'll always be content playing live at all times. So no matter how far you get into the content, and in a second you'll see how you can get into those poster boards, but you'll never get away from watching live television experiences. And that makes things a little different than they are now in the connected TV world. You're not going to see that on Netflix or on Hulu, though my thought is that they'll be changing their apps pretty soon to kind of follow suit. This is rolling out. This is currently live on Roku. It's rolling out on Android devices and PlayStation soon. So keep an eye out for it on these devices if any of you guys use them. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're pretty excited about it. So let's talk